I never thought a life like mine could exist. Every morning, I wake up next to Ava and feel like I've won the lottery. Morning, sleepyhead, she whispers, tucking a strand of hair behind my ear. I smile, feeling the warmth in my chest. Morning. You're up early, I tease. She shrugs, pouring coffee. Couldn't sleep. Thought I'd get a head start on the day? I watch her, the way she moves, effortless, graceful, and I think, how did I get so lucky? You know, everyone at work's jealous. They keep asking about you, I say. Ava rolls her eyes playfully. Good for them. They'll just stay jealous. I laugh, sipping my coffee. But there's a nagging thought I can't shake. The other day, her phone buzzed 3 times while we were at brunch. And she excused herself so quickly, I barely saw the screen. Work stuff, she'd said. I nodded then, convincing myself she was busy, but now I can't stop replaying it in my head. Mark calls right on cue. Hey man, brunch plans later. Yeah, you know Ava, she's always too perfect. People are watching us, I reply, half joking. Mark chuckles. Man, you're obsessed. She's great, but don't let it freak you out. I know, I say, glancing at Ava. She's laughing at some message, her fingers moving fast, like she's hiding something. I shake it off. Paranoid, maybe. Just paranoid.ma pops in, Ava's cousin. Hey, she says, dropping a casual kiss on Ava's cheek. I force a smile, though something about the way she looks at Ava makes me uneasy. Emma, you're early, Ava says, hugging her. I was in the neighborhood. Thought I'd say hi? Her eyes flick to me for a split second, unreadable. I clear my throat. Glad you came. Coffee? Yes, please. She smiles, and I feel like I should trust her. I want to trust everyone. Later, while Ava's in the kitchen, her phone buzzes again, 3 rapid alerts this time. I lean closer. She jerks it away immediately. It's just work, she says, too quickly. I don't press it. Not yet. Work seems stressful, I murmur, trying to keep it casual. Deadlines, she says. But the tone feels off. She doesn't meet my eyes. I sip my coffee, pretending not to notice. Still, my mind races. Why hide a phone like that if it's just work? Mark nudges me. Everything okay, dude? Yeah, just. She's being a little secretive, I mutter, trying to sound light. Mark raises his eyebrows, but says nothing, which makes me feel even more alone in this doubt. Emma laughs, breaking the tension. You two are adorable. Don't overthink. Life's too short. Her eyes dart at Ava again, like she knows more than she's letting on. I swallow, trying not to let it bother me. The rest of the morning passes in a blur of laughter, coffee, refills, and small talk. But my gaze keeps drifting to Ava. Something feels off. I can't put my finger on it, but the unease is growing. Finally, Ava's phone buzzes again. This time, I can't ignore it. She grabs it, tucking it into her pocket with a nervous glance. I need to make a call, she says. Her voice is steady, but I feel the tension radiating off her. I nod slowly, pretending not to notice, but inside, a cold knot forms. Something is hidden, I just know it. My perfect life. Maybe it's not as perfect as I thought, and I can't help wondering what else is she hiding. Ava, are you staying late at the office again tonight? I asked, trying to keep my tone casual. She barely looked up from her laptop. Yeah, a few things to finish. You know how it is. I do, but you've been working late a lot this week. Everything okay? She shrugged, closing her laptop with a little too much force. Fine, really, don't worry. I nodded, but the knot in my stomach wouldn't loosen. Fine. Everything's always fine with her, but somehow, it never felt fine. Later, I called Mark. Hey man, something's off with Ava, she's hiding stuff. Relax dude, she's your fiancée. People have privacy, I know, but I hesitated. She's been secretive, leaving calls unanswered, closing her laptop fast. I can't shake this feeling. Mark sighed. Look, you're overthinking, trust her, seriously. I want to, I said. But even as I spoke, I knew I didn't. Something gnawed at me, a quiet alarm I couldn't silence. That night, I waited. I watched her move around the apartment, her phone, always at her side, buzzing. Twice, she jumped when it rang and quickly hid it under the couch cushion. "Ava, who's texting you so late?" I asked, trying to sound calm. She froze. "Just friends. Don't worry about it." I forced a laugh. "Right, friends." But I couldn't hide the suspicion creeping into my voice. The next day, I ran into Emma at the cafe. "Hey," I said, sliding into the seat across from her. "Hey," she said, a little too quickly. Her eyes flicked down at my hands, then back up. "Everything okay with Ava?" I blinked. Why wouldn't it be? Emma hesitated, her smile tight. "Nothing. I just thought maybe she's been busy." I narrowed my eyes. Busy at night, hiding her phone, shutting down when I asked questions. She laughed softly. "I'm sure there's a perfectly normal explanation. Don't jump to conclusions." Her words felt like a warning more than advice. I left the cafe uneasy, my mind racing. That evening, I tried to confront Ava again. "I found out about that hotel reservation," I said, holding my phone with the confirmation email open. Her eyes widened, but only for a fraction of a second. Then she masked it with irritation. "What reservation?" I held it closer. "This one. In your name? Why are you booked at a hotel in the city last week?" She leaned back, crossing her arms. I needed a quiet place to work. "Can't I have that? Quiet place. Alone, with your phone off, all night?" I demanded, my voice trembling. "Don't lie to me, Ava." She bit her lip, her eyes flashing something I didn't recognize. "I'm not lying, you just don't trust me." I laughed bitterly. "After everything, how could I not?" She sighed, shaking her head. "You're imagining things. You're paranoid. I don't know why you're doing this." I wanted to believe her. I tried, but the evidence stared me in the face. And Emma's strange reactions, all weak, her knowing looks, her awkward hesitations made me realize I wasn't the only one noticing. That night, I couldn't sleep. I scrolled through old emails, messages, anything that might explain the hotel reservation. Nothing matched her story. Not a single explanation. I whispered to myself, "What are you hiding, Ava?" My phone buzzed again. It was her name. I picked it up slowly, almost afraid of what I'd see. But the message was innocent. "Are you asleep?" I wanted to reply, to tell her it was okay, to believe her. Instead, I put the phone down and stared at the ceiling. Something was very wrong. I realized then that I was already in too deep, emotionally tangled in her lies. I had no idea what I'd uncover next. The cracks in the mask were growing, and I was the only one seeing them. I didn't sleep that night. My mind was a cyclone of images, texts, and emails that didn't make sense. By morning, I knew I couldn't wait any longer. I had to confront her. "Ava, we need to talk," I said as soon as she walked in the door. My hands shook slightly. She looked up from her phone, smiling faintly. "What about?" I dropped my phone onto the table, screen facing her. "About this. Care to explain?" Her eyes flicked to it. A flash of irritation, or was it fear, passing through. "I don't know what you're talking about." I leaned forward. "Really? Because it says here, you've been meeting someone. Financial transfers, dinners, hotel reservations. Ava, don't lie to me." Her smile hardened. "Meeting someone? Transfers? Are you insane? You're imagining things." Again, I felt my chest tighten. "Am I? Look at this." I pointed to an email from Daniel, her business partner, confirming a late-night meeting. "Dinner last Friday. And here payments you never mentioned. Don't tell me that's just work." Ava laughed then, but it was hollow. "You're obsessed with control, you know that. Everything's about you, isn't it? Maybe I should be worried about you." I wanted to scream. Stop twisting this. I'm asking you, what is this?" She stood, pacing. "You'll never understand. You can't. You think you know me, but you don't." "Then tell me. Please, just tell me the truth." My voice cracked, and I hated how desperate I sounded. "I don't have to explain myself to you," she snapped. Maybe I never wanted to be this tied down. Maybe I wanted Freedom. Freedom. My hands clenched into fists. Freedom doesn't mean deception, Ava. How long have you been lying? Her eyes softened, almost mockingly. Does it matter? You found out. What are you going to do? Cry? I swallowed, my throat tight. I don't even know anymore. But I know one thing: you've shattered everything I believed in. There was a knock at the door. I froze. Ava's expression shifted. Daniel, she muttered. The door opened, and he stepped in tall, composed, his eyes landing on me with a faint smirk. I hear there's a problem. I stared. Daniel, you're her business partner. Yes, he said, casually. And it seems you've discovered some things. His gaze lingered on Ava, then back to me. She can be complicated. Ava stepped closer to me. See, even Daniel knows I can't be understood by people like you. I turned to Daniel. Wait, you knew about all this? Her meetings? Her transfers? He raised an eyebrow. I know she's careful with her personal life. But some things, they're private, you know. Private, I barked. This isn't private. She's been lying to me. Ava laughed again, cruelly this time. You made your choice when you decided to trust me blindly. Now live with it. I felt my world collapse. Every memory, every smile, every promise, they were all lies. My chest ached with betrayal. I wanted to hit something, someone, anything. Daniel's voice cut through my chaos. Maybe take a step back, both of you. Anger doesn't help. Step back, I snapped. She's been deceiving me. How do I step back from that? Ava's hand grazed mine, soft, deceptively tender. You overreact. I'm still me. Don't make this about betrayal when you don't even understand. I jerked away. I don't understand. I've been living with a stranger, in my own bed. Her eyes glistened, but I knew it wasn't remorse. Stop acting like you're the victim. I'm the one trapped in expectations. Maybe I needed someone else to see me for who I am. I laughed bitterly. Trapped. You think that excuses your lies? All these people you meet, the things you hide. Daniel cleared his throat. You need to calm down. Ava's not what you think, and maybe she is. But emotions won't solve anything right now. I shook my head, gripping the edge of the table. No, I have to know everything. No more secrets. I can't want to live in this illusion. Ava smirked, a flash of defiance in her eyes. Good luck. You won't like the truth when it comes out. Not everything is meant for you to see. Her words hit me like a punch. My stomach churned, a mix of fear, rage, and disbelief. Daniel stayed silent, watching, knowing more than he let on. I realized then that I had underestimated her. Her mask wasn't accidental, it was deliberate. And now, standing here, I had no control over what would unravel next. Ava's life, my trust, even my sanity, they were dangling by a thread, and I was powerless to stop it. The room was buzzing with congratulations and laughter. I should have felt proud, happy. Instead, my chest felt tight, my hands clammy. I spotted Ava, smiling perfectly, chatting with guests like nothing had happened. I cleared my throat and tapped my glass. Can I have everyone's attention? My voice sounded louder than I expected. The room went quiet. Ava's smile faltered just slightly. What's this about? She asked, her tone calm but with a hint of steel. I held up my phone. I think it's time people know the truth. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Truth, someone whispered. Ava stepped closer, graceful, her eyes cold. About what? I took a deep breath. About your secret life. About how you've been lying to me for months, meeting other men, hiding financial transactions, sneaking around while pretending everything's perfect. A murmur ran through the room. Some faces looked shocked, others skeptical. Ava's laugh cut through the tension, light, melodious, dangerous. You're crazy, she said softly, almost pitying me. Everyone, can you believe him? My fiancé thinks I have some double life. I swallowed my rising anger. It's not a joke, Ava. Look at the evidence. I swiped to show emails and hotel reservations. I trusted you, and you lied. A few guests leaned closer, curious. Wait, Ava, is this true? Someone asked, voice low. Her smile widened. Look at him. Does it really seem like I could manipulate anyone? Maybe he's just insecure. I clenched my fists. You're twisting it. I have proof. Don't pretend this is about me being insecure. Mark appeared beside me, whispering, Are you sure about this? People might. I took a deep breath, trying to steady myself. Maybe I am a fool. But, at least I'm honest. Unlike you, the crowd murmured. Some guests glanced at each other, confused, trying to figure out who was telling the truth. Ava leaned in, voice low but sharp. Do you really want people thinking this about me? That I've been deceiving you? Yes, I said, my voice shaking but firm. I want the truth to be seen. I can't live in this lie anymore. Julia, my colleague, stepped forward. He's right. He has proof. Maybe it's time we stop pretending everything is fine. Ava's eyes flicked to Julia, a flash of annoyance passing over her features. Julia, you don't understand. I understand enough, Julia said firmly. I see how it's hurting him. That's enough. I felt a flicker of relief, seeing someone else finally recognize the betrayal. Ava's charm didn't falter. She smiled at the crowd, tilting her head. Look at him, everyone. He's so dramatic. I love that about him. Really, he's harmless. Some guests chuckled awkwardly. I wanted to scream. It's not harmless. This is betrayal. How can you smile after everything? Ava shrugged lightly. Life's complicated. Maybe he's too sensitive. Maybe I'm too free-spirited. Either way, it's not the end of the world. I felt heat rise in my face, humiliation mixing with rage. I had exposed her, and yet some people were still questioning me. Was she really that persuasive? People can see the truth if they want to, I said, raising my voice. I trusted her. She lied. And if anyone can't understand that, then that's on them. Ava's laugh was sharp this time. Look at him. I think some of you might find him amusing, don't you? She tilted her head. Charming, and I felt a sick twist in my stomach. Julia stepped closer. Ignore her. She's manipulating the room. Focus on what's real. I took a shaky breath, looking at the crowd. Faces shifted from shock to whispers, some sympathetic, some confused, some skeptical. I realized I couldn't control how everyone saw it. I could only stand here, tell my truth, and face the consequences. Ava crossed her arms, leaning back, still smiling. Well, that was dramatic. Anyone else want to see proof? I shook my head, heart pounding. No. You've already shown who you are. And in that moment, I knew this was only the beginning. My humiliation was public, yes, but so was the first step toward taking back control. I don't want to be a monster. You're not, Mark said. You're angry? That's different. I want justice, I said. Not revenge that ruins me. Then think smart, he said. Play the long game. I already started, I told him. I sent copies of the receipts to a few of her clients. Not everything, just enough to make people ask questions. Mark whistled. Bold or stupid, I said. Maybe both, who else knows? He asked. Julia and Emma. Julia helped me check the accounts. Emma, she knew things but wouldn't say Emma. Mark frowned. Why would she stay quiet? She's loyal to family. That's complicated, I said. Julia arrived an hour later. We can't let her rewrite the story, she said. People listened to her smile. I know, I said. So I wrote to Daniel last week. I hinted at a conflict of interest. He called to me. I didn't expect him to show up at her office, but he did. So he's involved. Mark asked. Not directly. He's careful. But when he saw the documents, he shifted. Small cracks. What's the plan? Julia asked. Expose patterns, I said. Emails, transfers, hotel bookings. I leak them to people who matter. Her board, a select client, someone who will ask public questions. Julia nodded. Make it professional. Not an angry man's rant. That's the hard part, I admitted. Keeping calm, Ava called, that night. Her voice was smooth. You stirred up a hornet's nest. I'm tired of being lied to, I said. You started this, she said. You exposed me in front of our friends. You humiliated me. You lied to me, I said. You made it personal, she whispered. Now, I have to protect myself. You can't protect lies forever, I said. She laughed softly. You speak like a judge. But people love a good story. They'll judge you too, maybe, I said. But truth has weight. She hung up with a click that felt like a final door slam. The next week felt like walking a tightrope. I watched reactions. A client called Ava's manager with questions. A freelance journalist emailed. Curious. Someone at her company asked for clarification. I felt the power of small moves. One evening, I ran into Rachel outside a cafe. She was Ava's friend, loyal, fierce. The kind who would cut anyone down who threatened her girl. You're making trouble, she said. Folding her arms. I'm asking for honesty, I said. You embarrassed her, Rachel snapped. Do you enjoy watching someone fall? I don't enjoy it, I said. But I won't let lying slide. She stepped close, tone low. You think you can ruin her and walk away clean? People remember cruelty more than truth. You're the cruel one if you protect lies, I shot back. She smiled like a blade. Careful. She'll make you look unstable. That's her talent. How do I stop her? I asked, frustration raw. You can't stop a woman who wraps everyone around her finger, Rachel said. Her words cut, but they also lit a stubborn ember in me. Ava sent messages I ignored. She showed up at places unexpectedly and always managed a smile that broke the room. She called me a drama queen to anyone who would listen. But then, someone from her firm asked a public question at a meeting. Daniel cleared his throat and answered with hesitation. It was tiny, but it was there. I caught myself feeling triumphant and ashamed at the same time. Julia met me late. You did the right thing, she said. But, are you okay? Some nights I wake up and think I've become the thing I hated, I confessed. Then stop letting her define you, she said. How? I asked. Show you're better. Be honest, be open, keep your family and friends close. And the guilt. Use it to not cross a line, she said. Don't be cruel. Be clever. The hardest part was watching her try to retaliate. She wrote emails implying my instability. She whispered to people that I'd overreacted, that I had been controlling. Some people believed her. I felt my reputation wobble. One night she cornered me in the hallway at a party. You think you won? She asked, soft menace under her charm. I think I exposed truth, I replied. You exposed yourself, she said. People see you now. They pity you. Pity is fine, I said. I'd rather be pitied than lied to. She smiled like a victor. We'll see who survives this, darling. When she walked away, Rachel watched from the doorway, expression unreadable. I sat alone later, feeling the taste of my own actions. Revenge felt less heroic in quiet moments. I had planned, leaked, and watched consequences roll out like dominoes. I had also learned how far I could push a person before I started to cross my own moral line. I whispered to the empty room. I don't want to lose myself. A tiny, steady voice inside said, You won't, if you choose who you want to be. Mark texted, Be careful. She's a good actor. I typed back, I know. I'll keep it clean. Witnesses, documents, nothing personal. He replied, If you need me, I'll stand with you. I stared at his message and felt steadier. Plan, not fury. Evidence, not rumor. That line was thin, but I would walk it. I'd hold myself accountable. Truth comes. I walked into the office Monday morning, feeling a weight I didn't expect. Ava's absence was immediate. Her desk empty. Files unclaimed. Even her favorite coffee mug, gone. Mark, she's not here, I said, voice low. He leaned against the cubicle wall. Did you expect her to show up? After the emails went out. I don't know what I expected, I admitted. Part of me, I thought she'd fight back harder. Another part of me, I thought she might finally crack. Mark shrugged. She's resilient. But this is the first domino. I rubbed my forehead. I feel like I broke something. or someone, but it had to be done. Julia nodded. I know. But you also need to watch yourself. Karma's tricky. Sometimes it comes back to the person who wields it. I laughed bitterly. I'm already feeling it. Every time I see her desk empty, every time I see the gifts she left behind, part of me wants to run to her, apologize, and part of me wants to scream. Julia put a hand on my shoulder. It's complicated. Human emotions are messy. But remember why you started this. I exhaled sharply, thinking of the dinners she hid, the hotel reservations, the transfers. I can't believe she lied to me for so long. And some people still question me. People always question the victim until the story is undeniable, Julia said. You've made it undeniable. Emma called me that evening. I hesitated before picking up. Hi, I said cautiously. Hey, she said softly. I wanted to check on you. I scoffed lightly. Check on me. I feel like I've unleashed a storm. Emma's voice was calm. Maybe. But storms clear the air. Some people needed to see the truth. And you needed to see it too. I sighed. I thought seeing the truth would feel lighter. Instead, it feels heavy. Watching her life crumble, knowing I set it in motion. It's not what I imagined. Emma paused. Regret doesn't mean failure. Compassion doesn't make you weak. You acted because you couldn't live a lie. That's not cruel. That's necessary. I looked around my apartment later that night. Ava's abandoned gifts sat on the counter, small tokens of a life I thought we shared. Letters she never sent lay scattered. I picked one up. Her handwriting, familiar. I wish you could understand me. Someday. My throat tightened. I whispered. Maybe I wanted to understand too late. Mark texted. You okay? I typed back slowly. I think I broke more than I intended. But maybe that's the price of truth. The next day, whispers in the office were louder. Someone mentioned her missing from a client meeting. Another said a board member called her directly. Her charm was gone. Her perfect image, cracked. I caught myself watching from my desk, heart torn. Some people cheered quietly, some whispered caution. I realized, truth has consequences for everyone, hers, mine, and even bystanders. Julia appeared again, carrying coffee. I know this isn't easy, she said. Seeing her struggle, watching people question her. But you did what you had to. I keep thinking about what I lost, too, I said. Not just the relationship, but the person I thought I knew. The life I imagined. Loss is part of it, Julia said. But clarity has a price. You've paid it. I wandered into the park that evening, letting the cool air hit my face. The engagement ring in my pocket felt heavy. I imagined giving it back to her or smashing it, but I didn't. Symbolism matters, but so does restraint. I whispered to myself, I can't undo this. I can only move forward. Ava sent a message later. I hope you're proud. I stared at it, reading between the lines. Anger flared, but beneath it, I felt something else. Pity, sadness, a strange compassion. That night, I sat on the balcony, looking at the city lights. Her life was unraveling. My guilt was growing, and somewhere deep inside, I felt a flicker of understanding. Truth is heavy, painful, and lonely. But it's also the only thing that clears the air. Even when the cost is greater than you imagined. The gifts, the letters, the ring, they were not just objects. They were reminders of the world I thought I had, and the one I now had to rebuild. I whispered again. To the empty night, truth isn't free. And neither is love. I didn't answer her calls for the first 3 days. Each ring felt like a knife twisting deeper. Finally, my phone buzzed again. Her name on the screen. I stared at it. Hello? I said, voice tighter than I expected. Please? I need to talk. Ava's voice was soft, almost desperate. I never meant for it to go this far. Can we meet? I laughed bitterly. You never meant it? You lied, cheated, manipulated, and now you want a coffee to fix it. I was scared, she admitted. Scared of losing you. Scared of myself. Scared. You broke me, Ava. I know, she whispered. I know, and I'm sorry. Can't we just try again? I looked away, gripping the edge of the table. My heart wanted to scream yes, but my mind knew better. I don't think you understand. Trust isn't something I can just give back. You can forgive me, she pressed. Everyone deserves a second chance. Please, I can change. Change isn't enough, I said. Not after everything. I watched people question me. I watched your world crumble, and I watched myself struggle with morality and patience. Her voice dropped, colder this time. You think you've won? That exposing me makes you better. I think I survived, I said calmly. Better than being deceived, yes. Ava paused. So that's it. You're just done. I am done letting anyone control my life, I said firmly. I won't be manipulated, pitied, or silenced anymore. There was silence. I could almost hear her calculating her next move. Do you think people know everything? She finally asked. Do you think they see me for who I really am? I think some do, I said. Some who matter, and some who don't. Well, they'll figure it out eventually. You're proud of yourself, aren't you? She snapped, exposing me in front of friends, colleagues, humiliating me. I'm proud I chose truth over comfort, I said. Not revenge, not malice. Just truth. She laughed softly. Truth is subjective, darling. People will always take sides. Maybe, I admitted, but I take mine honestly. Later that week, Julia caught me in the hallway. She called again. Yes, I said, and I ignored it. I realized I don't owe her closure. I owe myself peace. Julia nodded. Some friends stayed away because they didn't want drama. And some returned, I said, thinking of Mark and a few colleagues who finally saw Ava's manipulation. Funny how loyalty shifts when the truth is visible. A neighbor stopped me in the elevator. I heard about everything, she said quietly. I just want to say, I'm glad you stood up for yourself. I nodded, surprised by the comfort. Thanks. It wasn't easy. The hardest moment came when Rachel, Ava's loyal friend, cornered me outside the building. You think you're free? She asked. You think exposing her makes you untouchable? I know I'm not untouchable, I said, but I am in control of myself. That's more than I had before. She smirked, almost impressed. She won't forget this, and neither will you. I know, I said, and that's fine. Lessons are heavy, but necessary. Ava emailed me the next morning. Subject line, we can fix this. I didn't open it. I deleted it instead. Mark appeared in the office later. You deleted her? Yes, I said. I can't let her words dictate my life. She had control for too long. Good, he said. You're finally putting yourself first. I hope so, I admitted. I've wrestled with guilt, compassion, revenge. All at once. But I realized something important. I don't need her approval. I don't need her lies. I only need my integrity. Julia joined us. And it's working. People notice the difference. You're calmer, stronger. They see it, even if they don't say it. I smiled faintly. It's strange, isn't it? Losing someone can feel like death, but surviving them feels like life. The next day, I found a box at my door. Inside, her letters, gifts, and our engagement ring. I held the ring for a long time. The weight wasn't about her anymore, it was about what I survived. I whispered to myself, I'm done letting anyone control me. Ava's last attempt came in a final voicemail. Please, just think about us. I didn't listen. I deleted it. For the first time in months, I felt a strange clarity. Betrayal had taught me boundaries. Revenge had taught me patience. The fallout had taught me resilience. I looked at my reflection in the mirror later that evening. I didn't see anger. I didn't see heartbreak. I saw someone who had survived manipulation, survived deception, and was finally free to choose my own path. And for the first time, I whispered with certainty, no one controls me. Not her, not anyone. Only I do. I didn't answer her calls, her messages, or her last desperate emails. News filtered in slowly, clients questioning her integrity. Former allies distancing themselves, business partners pulling away. Pretty much. She's losing the last of her alliances. I nodded, conflicted. Part of me feels relieved. Another part feels hollow. That's normal, Mark said. Truth hurts. Even when it's deserved. I never imagined seeing someone I loved fall like this would feel empty. Love and betrayal aren't easy to untangle, he said. But you survived. That counts. Later, Julia met me for lunch. She's calling clients, trying to spin her side, she said, stirring her coffee, but everyone's been briefed. People are listening differently now, I sighed. I wanted justice, not celebration. Watching her stumble, it's not satisfying the way I thought it would be. You're human, Julia said softly. Compassion doesn't mean weakness. It means you feel, even when you're right. I thought of the engagement ring sitting on my desk. It had been a weight, a symbol of promises broken and lies endured. I traced it with my finger. I should probably put this away. Finally, you could, Julia said. Or, you could keep it as a reminder of what you overcame. I nodded. Later, I walked through the park, feeling the wind on my face. Ava's absence felt surreal, like a ghost hovering around the edges of memory. Then her voice came soft, distant. I didn't think you'd let this happen. I spun, expecting her shadow at the gate, but it was only my phone lighting up. A voicemail. I pressed play. I need to explain. Please, one last time. I deleted it before finishing the first word. Silence was better than her excuses. Silence felt like reclaiming space that had been hers for too long. Mark texted later. You okay? I replied, better than ever. Empty, but free. At the office, colleagues whispered in corners, some sympathetic, some curious. I caught Rachel passing by. Her eyes flicked toward me, sharp and assessing. I nodded lightly, a silent acknowledgement. She didn't smile. She knew the game was over. Julia appeared by my side. Want to see something? She asked. I followed her to a meeting room where documents lay spread out, final proof of Ava's double dealings. Board members had officially addressed them. Careers ended, reputations shattered. Feels heavier than I thought, I admitted. Because it matters, Julia said. You didn't just fight for yourself. You fought for integrity. Later that evening, I found myself holding the engagement ring again. The gold felt cold, heavy in my hand. I stared at it, thinking of promises, lies, and the life I thought I had. Mark appeared silently. Ready? For what? I asked. To let it go, he said. I exhaled and placed the ring in a small box, closing it gently. I'm done giving my power away, I said. Good, Mark said. You earned that. Ava sent one last email. I hope you forgive me someday. I deleted it without reading. Forgiveness wasn't for her. Forgiveness was for me to let go, to move on, to stop carrying her weight. I walked through the city streets afterward, feeling sunlight on my face. Conversations with friends, colleagues, even neighbors reminded me of support, honesty, and trust I still had. The emptiness I had feared transformed into clarity. Julia called as I reached home. How's it feel? Liberating, I said. Sad in some ways, but real, honest. That's the key, she said. Truth, even when painful, frees you. And now you can choose your life. I nodded silently, looking at the horizon. Ava's life was in shambles. My life was mine again. The lessons had been brutal betrayal, revenge, moral choices, but I emerged intact, wiser, and stronger. I picked up a pen and scribbled in my notebook. I am not defined by others. I am the author of my own life. Mark appeared at the doorway. Writing your manifesto? Something like that, I said, smiling faintly. I need a reminder of who I am now. Later that night, I placed the engagement ring on the windowsill. It caught the city lights, glinting like a symbol of reclaimed agency. I didn't feel anger or regret anymore, just a quiet satisfaction, the knowledge that I had faced betrayal, embraced the consequences, and emerged whole. I whispered to the empty room, I am free. I am myself, and no one controls me again. Silence followed. A deep, steady peace. The chapter of Ava was over. My story, my real life, was just beginning. The first sunrise I saw after everything felt different. Not brighter, not perfect, just real. I sipped my coffee on the balcony, letting the city wake around me, and for the first time in months, I felt like I could breathe. Mark appeared beside me, stretching lazily. "You actually look peaceful," he said. "I think I am," I admitted. "Not happy, exactly, but at peace." I finally stopped carrying her weight. He grinned. "Took you long enough." I laughed softly. It wasn't easy. Some mornings I woke up wishing I could rewind, or at least scream. But now, I feel ready to move forward. Julia called just then, her voice warm. "Morning, how's the new chapter treating you?" "Slowly, but surely," I said. "I'm learning that rebuilding doesn't happen overnight. It's tiny victories, small moments." "I'm proud of you," she said. "You kept your integrity, your sanity, and now, you're stronger." I smiled faintly. I nodded, holding the notes close. I guess that's what moving forward feels like. Recognition without judgment. That evening, I walked through the park, feeling sunlight on my face. Memories of Ava came uninvited, the laughter, the lies, the betrayal. A pang hit my chest, sharp and brief. I whispered, "I survived you. I survived everything." Mark joined me, handing me a bottle of water. "She still haunts your mind sometimes, doesn't she?" "Yeah," I admitted. "I can't erase the scars, but I can decide they won't control me. Every step forward, it's mine." "You're learning," he said. "Slowly, steadily, and you're finally choosing your own life." At home, I opened the box with the engagement ring. I didn't throw it away. I didn't hide it. I placed it on my shelf, next to a photo of my friends and a journal filled with new goals. It wasn't about revenge or heartbreak anymore. It was about agency. My life, my choices, my future. Julia called again. A letter from Ava fluttered out of a drawer. I hadn't read it in months. I picked it up, hands trembling slightly. "I hope one day you can forgive me. I never wanted to hurt you. I wish things were different." I sighed, letting the paper fall back onto the desk. Forgiveness wasn't for her, was for me, to close the chapter without dragging bitterness along. Later, I spoke with Mark over lunch. "Do you think people really change?" He shrugged. "Sometimes, but it's not your job to fix them. It's your job to survive." I nodded. I guess surviving feels different now. Less about rage, more about clarity. Julia joined us then. "You've grown," she said softly. "The way you handle everything, pain, manipulation, it's inspiring." "Maybe," I said. "I just know I don't want to be anyone's puppet again." That's the lesson I learned. I walked home after rain still falling. Each puddle reflected a fractured version of the past. But looking closer, I saw pieces of myself reassembled, stronger, wiser, calmer. A flashback struck me of Ava's defensive whisper the night I exposed her. "You think this makes you stronger, but it won't heal you." I smiled faintly. I don't need to be healed by her. I heal myself. At my apartment, I opened my journal. I wrote, "Trust is fragile. Self-respect is fragile too. Protect both. Karma isn't instant. It's inevitable. And my life is mine, entirely." I paused, hearing the echo of Ava's voice in another memory. "I loved you in my way. Can't you see that?" I shook my head. "Love doesn't justify betrayal." "Not ever," Mark texted. "Thinking of grabbing dinner." I typed back. "Sure, life's too short not to share moments like this." I realized then that the small joys, the loyal friends, the quiet victories, these were my treasures now. Ava's chaos belonged to her. My peace belonged to me. Later, I looked out at the skyline. The sun began breaking through the clouds, streaks of gold spilling over the city. It wasn't a grand revelation, just a gentle reminder that life moves forward, that every ending carries the seeds of a beginning. I whispered, "I am stronger. I am whole. I am free." And for the first time in a long while, I didn't feel the ghost of her lies haunting me. I felt the pulse of my own heartbeat, steady and unshakable. The rain slowed. I opened the window, letting the fresh air fill the room. It carried a sense of renewal, of lessons learned and scars acknowledged but no longer feared. I smiled faintly, picking up my coffee again. "This is it," I said softly. "The start of my life, untethered, unafraid, and mine entirely." The past would always be a shadow behind me, but now, it didn't scare me. It only reminded me of how far I'd come, and that was enough.